Okay. Also, you applied. Was it difficult for you? I mean, officiating area games and community matches is a bit different. But officiating at the highest level as a professional referee is also different and comes with its own challenges. Was it difficult for you from the beginning?
I think if you are talking of difficulty, the initial stages were very difficult. If you know the north and football, it is not easy. Even cold matches, when you are officiating, you can be sure of being stoned. If it fails to go well for a team, they can stone you at any point. So those days, it was very difficult to officiate matches. And because of that, look, the whole of Upper East, we had only 6 referees because referees were always beaten. And because of that, nobody wanted to become a referee. So at that point, it was very difficult. So after surviving, going through this, there was no way by which a tough match will be given to you with security and you cannot perform.
Yeah.
So it was difficult from the beginning, but at the highest level, it was easier.
So the most difficult part of refereeing is when you are at the grassroots level.
Pardon me?
The most difficult periods for a referee is when you are at the grassroots level.
The grassroots level. That is exactly so.
Wow. Were you ever beaten?
So many times.
Oh, so many times. Can you recount one of such incidents for us?
The very difficult one, of course, was in a class sports stadium between Chelsea and House of Oak.
That's the elite level. I'm even talking about the grassroots level.
Yes, at the grassroots level, I remember I was asked to officiate a Division 3 match, and I went in for the match. As a novice, I wanted to do my best. So at a point in time, I took a penalty against a team. The whole stadium rushed into the field. There was no inner perimeter. And there I received blows from everywhere. For my assistant, what happened to him was that he fell down as if he was dead, and they threatened burning him. So he had to get up to run again. My brother, it wasn't easy.
It's hilarious.
It took a policeman to remove his uniform for me to wear to be able to escape from the stadium.
Wow.
And that was the very difficult times that we went through.
Wow. So do you remember your first professional game?
Yes.
Which one was it?
My first professional game was a match between a team in Upper West Heroes and Kwamax.
Okay.
This was a match officiated by a FIFA referee first. The match didn't end.
Wow.
I was surprised that the referee committee called me and asked me to go to WA for the match.
And you also went?
If you know WA, Kwamax and Heroes were bitter rivals. Bitter rivals. So when I arrived in WA at the station, the supporters started fighting over who to take me to the hotel. That was a signal that the match was not going to be easy. And so that night, I couldn't sleep. I was just imagining what was going to happen the following day. But I have one thing. When I enter into a match, I have fear. When I enter into a match, I forget about the fear.
Yeah.
So when I went in, the first whistle I blew for the beginning of the match, I told myself that no matter what, 90 minutes will reach. 90 minutes will reach. The fourth minute, I gave a red card to a player of Heroes and took a penalty. It wasn't easy. Then I said, this match, I must end it. I must be able to go through it. The people ran into the field. After some time, they had to clear the field, and I continued. In fact, I finished that match, and both the team that lost, that was Kwamax, and the team that won, all gave, some people were giving money in the field. And that was a motivation. There was no problem after the match. And that was my first professional match. That really encouraged me to forge ahead.
Wow. So when you started as a center referee?
Yes, I was a central referee.
Tell us, how did you become an assistant referee?
It got to a point I was advised by the late Agwebi, AP Agwebi, who was the referee's instructor.
That's the senior Agwebi, not the junior?
Senior Agwebi.
Okay.
He said I was good in the middle, but my height wasn't good.
You are too short.
He said I was short and that players may cloud me and I cannot see properly. So he advised that if I could go to the assistant to see whether I could try at that place. I agreed. And that was where he gave me a match to go and be an assistant. I went and performed, and he called me and said, that was wonderful. You are even better in the assistant than the middle.
Wow.
So continue from that place. And that is how I went back to the assistant.
Often, not even for journalists, we see your work and we think it is easy. Can you what are some of the difficulties for you as an assistant referee? What is the most difficult rule for you to interpret? Is it the offside rule? Is it the penalty? What is it about your job that's so difficult?
Every rule is difficult.
Okay.
Every rule is difficult depending on your interpretation of the rule.
Sure. Your understanding of the rule.
Yes, but the most difficult among them is that controversial rule, offside.
Offside.
Offside. So many conditions. The player is interfering with play. The player is gaining advantage. These things happen. When you sit and you are watching matches, you can easily identify an offside. If you are running and following the match, it's difficult to interpret an offside.
Okay.
Very difficult. But if you are watching television, it is very clear. Because you are very relaxed and you can see the offside. When you are tense up in the field, you run and you stop and curve, you will see the difficulties in it when you are taking offside. So offside is the most difficult interpretation. Even now, despite the fact that they are using VAR,
technology,
they still get some of the things wrong.
Yeah.
It is not easy. But people think that, if you're a referee, you should be able to know this. But it's not as easy as you see it. So those are the challenges. And you see, the problem has to do with, even before the match, the pressure before the match is not easy. It's a challenge. You are going into a match and there are so many things that you have to consider. At a point in time, they will tell you, this is a home match, it is this, it is that. Security is a major issue.
Who will tell you that this is a home match? Who will tell you that? Who people call you to have a conversation with you?
You know it better than me. Just like we have politics, there's politics in football. Serious politics in football. Serious politics in football.
Serious politics, you mean?
At the point in time, you'll be left to struggle on your own. Because if the security man to tell you, I remember I officiated a match in one of the big stadiums between Hearts and Kotoko. The security man was the first person to throw water at me.
The security official who is supposed to protect you.
When I took a decision, offside decision, that the security man thought that his team was going to score, and I took that position, I had the water from my back, from him. And he told me that, look, we'll leave you here for you to be beaten in one of the big stadiums. So if you are officiating with the hope that there's security around, and the security tells you to take a decision or take a position, then where's your faith? You'll have to use common sense to survive.
In this case, what does common sense mean?
Common sense means doing the work and being saved. And that's what happened to me at Accra Sports Stadium, where I was beaten and I was in coma for 3 days, if you remember.
I remember.
Good. What was my crime? Go back and watch that match. What was my crime? Just because I was doing the right thing? Today, one of my eyes is affected.
Wow.
One of my eyes, my right eye is affected. I can't see properly with that eye. Because I was beaten and I was in Rich Hospital for 3 good days. It affected my eye. No compensation, nothing. It is disheartening. Sometimes when you do your best, and this is
the criminals, I call them criminals, were not also arrested and prosecuted.
They are free. I think they know them. They can't arrest them because everybody have their interests. They have their interests. They went scot-free. So next time I'm going to officiate match, knowing that I can easily lose my eye, the other eye, do you think that I will do the right thing?
It is difficult.
You think you can stand on the right thing? You have to use your common sense to survive.
So you are saying if you go into a venue where the security is apt and well, and up and doing, you are able to officiate better?
Yes. But when you go and the security is not good, you don't use the rule. Use common sense.
So, amongst all the written laws, there's one unwritten law, that's the common sense law.
Common sense. Common sense is so important. That is the greatest law among all the laws. Because if you don't use your common sense, in fact, where you will be put, you will regret for being there.
The game in question has kept me a bit. Can you remind us the particular game?
That game was between Chelsea and Hearts of Oak.
Oh, that Chelsea game. Yeah. I remember. I remember that the Chelsea caused a lot of confusion because just after Accra, they went to Kumasi and the Kumasi one, something happened.
Kumasi, it was Hazakes and Kodogor. It was rain off.
Yeah.
And the difference between Hearts and Kodogor was 1 point. So Hearts thought that if they are able to beat Chelsea, and later on Kodogor also beat Hazakes, they will still maintain their 1 point
difference.
Lead. And here's the case: the Kodogor Hazakes match was rain off. And Chelsea drew with Hearts in Accra Sports Stadium. And that was the problem. Yes. Even that match, I remember Sabankwe, who was the team manager of Hearts, was equally beaten.
Because he couldn't do his job.
Yes. At the stand there, he was beaten. So those criminals, I don't know how they got access to the dressing room. They entered in the dressing room when they were waiting for us.
Oh, they came to the dressing room?
That was the issue. So they entered the dressing room, and the police were leading us to the dressing room. I was the first. I took the lead. Myself and Bote, who's a soldier man. So I took the lead. As soon as I entered the room, they locked me inside. And the criminals had a field day. They beat me until I collapsed. They let me and came out. The police could not come in because they locked me inside with them. So when I collapsed, they opened and went out and let me there. And that's how I was carried to Reach Hospital. I was there for 3 days in coma. It's a
you went off for 3 days?
Experience. 3 days in coma. And nothing happened.
Did that change you?
Well, I entered into with the risk. I knew about the risk in officiating. So coming from a very tough background, I saw it to be normal. Because I expect those things. So I just didn't see it to be anything.
Which game would you say it's the most difficult game you've officiated?
The most difficult game I ever officiated internationally was Mauritania against Morocco.
Mauritania against Morocco?
In Nouakchott, the capital of Mauritania.
Why was it difficult?
It was a political game. A political game in the sense that I went with Lamte and David Lai. We ran lines for him, a World Cup qualifier. In that match, you should know that there's some political tension between Mauritania and Morocco because of a land between Morocco and Mauritania, Sahrawi Arab Republic. If you have read geography, you notice about that. There is some land between Mauritania and Morocco, which Morocco wants to actually colonize that area, and Mauritania too wants to colonize the area. So there's a political tension between Morocco and Mauritania. And so when we got to Nouakchott, the capital of Mauritania, look, we were invited by the sports minister, and they told us that they are not interested in actually going for World Cup, but they will never allow Morocco to beat them. They are not interested in World Cup. And for Morocco, who are their enemies, to beat them, that is over their dead body. So that tension was there. So the following day when we entered the stadium, wow, the first goal was a penalty against Mauritania. Very genuine penalty taken by, I flagged for the penalty and Lamte took it. Very excellent one. And that was a very difficult game. Then we saw water flying all over. It wasn't easy. We had to stop the game for a while and continued after sanity was brought. It was a very, very, very difficult game. At the end of the game, I think Morocco beat them 4-1. And I think the margin of the goals actually reduced the tension. But the most difficult I ever saw was my first year in the Premiership. My second match was Haas Kotoko.
Whoa.
When I entered the Premiership, the first one, I went to Kumasi Power FC against Kotoko. The second match was Hasbrook against Kotoko in Sunyani. But then they were renovating the stadium.
I remember.
Myself, Adams, and Bomson.
Say to Bomson.
Yes. At the Sunyani Sports Stadium. And as a Nino or a newcomer in the Premiership, for me to get a second match, that was a tension match. I think most of the senior ones even were debating as to why I was put in that match, because I didn't have experience. And why was I put in that match? They were debating. But after the match, I think God being so good, I was able to weather the storm. And that made me really very popular.
Looking back,
Yes.
do you think that when it comes to refereeing in Ghana,
Yes.
we have created the enabling environment for referees to be firm, just, and fair?
20%.
20%.
Yes. What makes a referee to stand and officiate the match with motivation? What is it? The first factor is payment of referees. How much are they paid?
Your allowances.
The allowances, how much is a referee paid? Upon all the risk, how much are they paid? Look at the international referees. How much they pay? They are paid in dollars. How much is it? If you go to official international matches and you are given even $1,000, how much is it? Can you compare that to a local match? Even if you are given $100, a local match, you think that is big money. So the first thing is the motivation. The referees, the payment of referees, zero. That alone is a problem. Secondly, all manner of people have their interests in the game. You go for a match and the security is compromised. All the people think is that when I threaten the referee, he will do it in my favor. So the referee is left to struggle for his life, knowing that somebody can be beaten and it don't go anywhere. That is a major challenge. How are referees motivated? Look at, I used to travel from Volga to Accra. And when you are traveling from Volga to Accra, look at the lorry fare. You go and come back. The amount they are giving you for even the hotel, 50 cities. Can you get a 50 cities hotel in Accra? Before the match. After the match, you cannot come back. You have to sleep and come back the following day. But you are given only one night, 50 cities. Then when you come back, if you are not lucky, or if you are lucky, depending on your situation, Wednesday you have a midweek match. Go to Pando. And when you calculate all the lorry fare, as against the allowance they are going to give you, it doesn't match. It doesn't tally at all. Then you go to a center, you are borrowed money to travel to a center to officiate the match. Come back Wednesday, you borrow money and travel again. And it will take you the whole season before you are paid 6 matches, 3 matches, 2 matches. Then you go to a center and the team says, oh, we know they don't pay you, so take 200 cities as TNT. Then somebody will come and video you and go and put that you quality bribe. Where's the fairness? Where's the fairness? I mean, and I expect that you as journalists should do something about it. When an incident occurs, please go into it. What is the cause of it? Because if you are doing research, the first thing is the cause of it. What is the cause of this situation? What is supposed to be done that is not done? And what have motivated this to happen? And you come out with the results. That is very good research. Not to go and capture picture and come and show how money is changing hands, and that is it, it's corruption. And you say fairness. Is that fairness?
So
anybody can stand at the market and give somebody money to collect. Is it not possible?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if they video you on that and come and put that is a bribe that you have taken, what will you say?
But you also will agree that there are ethics that guide your job, for instance. If you are not supposed to take gifts, then you have yourself to blame if indeed someone offers and you accept.
The beginning of your interview, I made it clear to you that principle can be broken based on situations.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still remember that.
I do. I asked the question, so I do remember.
Do you think that the prostitutes that you see in Accra circle, they do it because they want to do it?
Some do it because they want to do it.
But majority is not because they want to do it. They don't have a way.
But I think that's also, even though true, it's also dangerous because we cannot also give into we cannot give into life demands and changes and then say, oh, it is because of this circumstance. Then we
It is not demands. It's not demands. At a point in time, situation can let you break your principles. When you don't have a way out, when there's no solution to a problem, and there must be something about it, you must do something about it. Sometimes these things that happen. Since when has it become a norm that gift is not allowed in Ghana? Even in football, since when?
But you know that the FIFA laws does not allow you to take gifts at a certain level. You know that.
My brother, a gift is not a material that is given. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
FIFA laws agree that when you are going to a place to officiate a match, you are hosted. That is a gift. You are given a hotel. You are given food to eat. That's a gift.
No, that's defined.
How is it defined?
It is defined that if you are going for instance, a Champions League game, the classified and unclassified payments are made to you. So this is defined. And the specific amount is mentioned. But if you leave it to people's whims and caprices, they can decide to give you 50,000. But they know what they want. They know what they will tell you to change your mind to do whatever they want. That's what is dangerous.
Yes, my brother, you are right. But what you should really understand is that even if the law says that don't accept a gift, is that okay? Even after you have accepted a gift, the next thing to find out is that you have accepted this gift. Has it got an influence in that match that you have officiated? You look at it. Has the gift that you have taken, has it influenced the match that you have officiated? I know that there are many matches that we officiated, and probably they have given you TNT. You've taken a TNT, and you go and the team will lose miserably. The team that have given a TNT will lose miserably. 5-0, 6-0. What influence have you played in that game? So they are, you add up and subtract. These are some of the things that happen.
But after watching the Anas expose,
yes,
did it ever cross your mind that, wow, I shouldn't have taken this money?
That what?
You shouldn't have taken the money. Did it ever cross your mind?
Oh, why not? Why not? It's a wrong thing. It's a wrong thing. Like my case, there are many of the videos my name was mentioned. The picture wasn't mine. That is one. One of my pictures appeared, and this was a friend, my brother, a friend, who coaxed me to take the money.
He coached you to take the money?
He coaxed me, at least he influenced
me. Coerced you.
Yeah. Coerced me to take the money. Do you get it? Because you come and say, oh, the other time you did very well, we didn't give you anything, you did very well in that match. In fact, we were so impressed. We just wanted to give you something to as Laura Fair. We didn't get you. And here's the case, you have come again. So take this and make your Laura Fair. After the match, we can't see you. He said, oh, it's okay. No. You have been my friend for long. It's not today. It's not because of football that we are doing this. But we are friends. As normal as it is, the person has a different aim. You take that money, 200 cities, you take that 200 cities, and they will come and tell you that they gave you 700 cities.
So it was 200 cities, and you were banned for 10 years?
For 10 years. 200 cities.
Did you appeal?
The picture will tell you that, oh, they gave you 700 cities. Even in the normal sense, is that the truth?
Did you appeal? Did you appeal the decision?
Appeal what decision?
The 10-year ban.
I did. I wrote to CAF. I wrote explaining my point with all evidences. I did. But they have not responded. I did. I was asked to anybody who had anything to come to Cairo, who would pay that fare for me to take a flight to Cairo? Who would pay that hotel? Over matches I officiated, I wasn't even paid. That year, the matches I officiated, how many matches were paid? Did they pay the matches? Where was I going to get that money and travel to Cairo? You officiated in a match, you officiated in a year about 15 to 20 matches, and they paid only 2 matches. 2 matches were paid. The rest of the matches, even as I talk to you now, I have not been paid for those matches that I officiated.
Interesting.
I've not been paid for those matches. And I'm not the only person. Ask all the referees that were affected. They have not been paid. So you are expecting the 2 matches that were paid to me.
But if you go through all this and you establish a referee academy, that's very strange.
I did a lot.
I'm saying that if you go through all this and you establish a referee academy, that's yes, just pure love for the sport.
You see, what the FA is doing today is my brainchild.
They catch them young?
They catch them young. You can ask anybody, will tell you. When I joined, I was teaching a school called Big Boss. When I got there, that vision came to me that one day, we the old will phase out, and young one must come up. Because of that, I established an academy in the school, Referees Academy. Catch them young. So I was using the students, training the students. I trained the students, and they were officiating the school matches, the regional matches, they were officiating. And I saw that it was coming up. And in fact, citizenry were interested in those children officiating their matches. So because of that, I met with my executive, and we established that in all the secondary schools in the Upper East region. So we moved from place to place to visit them and to take them through. And each place we went, we left a teacher to be taking care of them. I can tell you today that out of that academy, 70% of the Upper East referees come from that academy.
Wow.
You can talk of Jogaba Duntara, I was a history teacher, I taught him. I established that. You can talk of Kugri, Chief Brother Kugri, who's now officiating. A lot of them, 70% of my referees came from the academy. Now, today, those officiating the Premier and Division 1, they came from our academy. So it was something that started in 2005. And that is now young. I called them young long ago.
Wow.
And that's the policy that is now going on. You can ask the referee manager, Mr. Lescote, he will tell you. You can ask any of the referees, they will tell you that we started our Catch Them Young in 2005. But I'm very proud that despite the fact that I'm not in the refereeing, my boys are still there officiating. My boys and girls are still there officiating. In fact, I have transformed a lot of them, and they are now officiating. And it is good for Ghana. They are officiating for Ghana.
Referee Dawuda Barago, thank you very much for your time. It's been a very, very interesting conversation, and we appreciate you for doing this with us.
Thank you so much.